People think leaving is sudden. Like one day everything is fine, and the next someone is gone. But that's only what it looks like on the surface. Because most people don't leave in one moment. They live in stages. Small shifts, small silences, small changes that don't feel important at first. And by the time you notice, it already feels too late to understand when it started. So let's slow it down, because this is how it really happens. Stage 1. Everything feels normal. At the beginning, nothing feels unusual. Conversations are easy, replies are fast. There's consistency. You don't have to think too much about it. It just works. And because it works, you stop observing it closely. You stop checking for changes. You stop questioning efforts. Their presence becomes part of your routine, almost predictable. And when something becomes predictable for long enough, you stop noticing how valuable it is. That's the first stage most people miss. Not when something breaks, but when it feels too stable to question.
Stage 2. Small distances begin. Then something shifts, but quieter. Replies take a little longer. Calls don't happen as often. Plans get delayed or forgotten. Nothing dramatic enough to react to, so you explain it. They're busy, they're tired, they're focused on other things, and maybe that's true. But what really changes here is not them, it's you. You begin adjusting without realizing it. You wait longer before texting again. You stop double texting. You start giving space automatically. Not because you agreed to, but because it feels easier than questioning it. And slowly, distance stops feeling like something happening to you. It becomes something you adapt to.
And then comes stage 3, emotional shifts. Now you feel it, even if nothing has been said out loud. The conversations are still there, but something is missing inside them. Less warmth, less excitement, less presence behind the words. And your mind starts picking up details it used to ignore. Short replies, delayed responses, energy that doesn't feel the same anymore. You start overthinking, rereading messages, trying to understand tone that used to feel natural. And without realizing it, you change too. You become more careful, more aware, more intentional in how you speak. You start working harder emotionally just to maintain something that used to feel effortless. That's the quiet imbalance forming. Stage 4. Silence becomes familiar. Then silence starts taking over. Not suddenly, but gradually. Less talking, less sharing, less reaching out. And at some point, you stop fighting it. Not because you're okay with it, but because it starts to feel normal. Silence becomes part of the pattern. You stop asking why things changed. You stop trying to fix the gap. Because over time, your mind adapts. And what once felt like distance now just feels like how things are. That's the dangerous part. Not the silence itself, but how easily you get used to it. Then comes the final stage, stage 5, the exit. Then it ends. A message, a goodbye, or sometimes nothing at all. And it feels sudden, but it isn't, because by this point, most of the leaving has already happened. In the slow replies, in the reduced effort, in the silence that became normal. The final moment didn't create the ending. It only confirmed it. And that's why it hits differently. Not because it happened fast, but because you only recognized it when it was already complete. That's what most people miss. It was never one moment. It was a slow emotional shift that never felt urgent enough to stop. Each stage made sense on its own, which is exactly why no one sees the full picture while it's happening. You only understand it after, but the story is already over. Because most endings don't start at goodbye. They start in silence. Long before anyone notices, they've already begun. If you've reached the end of this video, don't forget to like and subscribe if it made you think.